head coach of the Hanover Central Wildcats, Brian Parker. Brian, it's another undefeated regular season for your team. Obviously, a little different this year. New conference, but it seemed like it was the same Hanover Central team. You guys really played great football, a bunch of new opponents. You go into this new conference. Talk about what this season meant just because new conference, but it was still that same Hanover Central team that we're accustomed to seeing.
I think definitely meant a little bit more than it has in the past, given the context of transitioning from the GSSC to the NCC. No doubt about it. Like you mentioned, the quality of opponents. I think it needs to be stated because I've been asked this question a million times, and I feel like I've answered it a million times. Like we had the utmost respect for those programs in the Greater South Shore Conference, and some great coaches, some good teams, and um, but it was definitely time to go. And coming into the Northwest Crossroads Conference, really, we didn't do anything different in regards to our preparation. This is something that we foresaw happening 5, 6 years ago when I first got here, and that was really always the goal in regards to getting into this conference. So, although we weren't in the conference, we were always preparing for the conference. I think a lot of the questions that coming into the conference were not necessarily our athleticism, but would we be able to sustain an entire conference season physically against the teams and the programs that we were playing? And so really our approach was to just get bigger, faster, stronger, and more explosive. And with the hiring of my defensive coordinator and strength conditioning coach, AJ Grzanko, 5 years ago, he is, also, supplemented with a lot of administrative support. We've got a brand new state-of-the-art weight room that is probably top three in the area in regards to our weight room facilities. And, couple that with Coach Grzanko and some of the resources we have now at our expense. The goal was, I don't know. I'm just myself and my coaches are just extreme competitors, and by no means were we just happy to be a part of the conference. We wanted to go in full send and win the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, that's all what you did. You guys went in and you dominated most of that competition. You guys had so many of those wins where there was a running clock in the second half, and you had a couple of those close wins. I know that Hobart game was very close at the
Mhm.
end. When you go through a season like that where you do have those dominating wins and maybe some close wins, what are you able to learn over, that stretch?
Well, I never doubted our guys' physical ability to be, I knew we had good players. I knew but football is so much more than just a physical game. It is, it can just wear on you, mentally, in regards to, we tell our players all the times when they start in June, your bodies will never be the same up until Christmas time, and that's just that's just the reality of the situation. And I knew physically we could compete. But I wanted to see how well we could respond in regards to, Hobart. We kick off to Hobart, they go right down, score 7-0, and then they kick off to us, and we have to punt. And now it's 7-0. They got the ball, and we just got to keep playing. And we saw some things there in regards to our guys' ability to kind of overcome some things when they're not going our way. Um, Hammond Morton presented a lot of issues for us week 2 in regards to their athleticism and their size. And they got some momentum at the end of the first half there. We're fortunate to get a fumble recovery, but the first play, boom, they score. It's 14-7 and they're rolling. But then we were able to get the ball back and go drive down the length of the field and score and answer right back. We've done that a lot this year in regards to just the way we've responded to some things that just haven't gone our way, where that wasn't the case the last few years in the GSSC, where it was essentially just a knife through butter, and we didn't really have to overcome much or any adversity. And we saw that in the sectional game against West Lafayette last year, where a lot of the guys were just kind of not in shock because, well, they were getting punched right back in the mouth, and we hadn't really seen that.
Yeah, and you have a lot of players that made that transition with this new team to the new conference. I mean, you talk about Coons, you talk about Verrett. there's a lot of other guys that I'm probably missing, but what have you seen and what's been so special watching those guys, especially a guy like Caden Verrett, who is one of the region leading touchdown scorers?
Well, I don't think we've always known that Caden's a special player. So I was very excited to see what he could do when he was the man in the backfield, and obviously he's come through with flying colors. And the thing that's different about this team than any really other team that I've ever been around, whether it was here or my time at Maryville, was these guys just really enjoy being around one another. Our leaders on our football team are extremely approachable. They don't walk around the school like they're the big man on campus. They're very likable guys, particularly Matt and particularly Caden. Colin Foy is, he's the same exact way, and Jacob Straminsky. The list goes on and on. We just got some really good kids who want to make our team better and to help others to get better. So it's really made my job easy in regards to particularly this group of leaders that we have on our team. And offensively, we're a lot more balanced this year than we have, not run pass, but our ability to spread the ball around to many different people. So, and on defense, we're playing good defense. So,
yeah, I mean, your offense is averaging 40 points a game. Your defense is only giving up 12 points a game. When you have that type of complementary football where your offense can go up and put 30, 35 points a game and your defense can make those stops and only give up about 10, 15 points a game, how much does that elevate the players around the whole team just because everybody is making an impact, it seems like?
Yeah, for sure. And we didn't mention special teams too. We've got a lot of our younger guys who are a lot of our JV players who have been doing a very good job in regards to our special teams who, in a year or two, they'll be making the transition and they'll be playing on Friday nights as well. We had a successful JV season as well after the last 2 years going undefeated in JVs. So, no, it really feels like we're getting contributions 1 through 75 throughout our roster, whether it's on the field or in the classroom or in the hallways, just contributing, just being a good student athlete. I like I said, I'm fortunate. I've got a great roster of kids on our team and a great group of coaches. So, you know, but really offensively though, Jack, really, the person who stirs the drink is Matt. Matt is our 3-year starter. He's a junior all-state quarterback his sophomore year. Probably would have done it again last year if he didn't start the season injured. He's really an extension of myself since I'm the one who calls the offense on the field because he knows exactly what we're trying to do. And he's pretty much mastered our offense in regards to, what we do. So I'm very fortunate. Like I said, I can't say it enough in regards to the group of kids that I get to coach on a daily basis.
And you guys are kind of heading in similar territory like last year, undefeated in regular season now, and here we are postseason this week. When you're riding this big of a high, because going undefeated in regular season is not easy at all, and especially with this year, we talked about a little bit about the new conference. How do you still manage your team's expectations by not letting that regular season 9-0 record be enough for a successful season?
When we talk about benchmarks throughout the course of this season, our number one objective every year is to win conference. That's the most tangible goal that every team can do. And then after that is an undefeated regular season. So we're 2 for 2 on that. So, and we still have some goals that we want to attain. Obviously, every year the goal is to win a state championship. Now, I don't know, a lot of people think that might be a little far-fetched, but that's where always, if I'm ever coaching and that's not the goal, I'll probably not be coaching much longer. Now, obviously, that's not the most at the top of the food chain, a list in regards to goals, as a high school football coach. But, that's what we want to do. We want to be playing on Thanksgiving weekend. We want to hoist that state championship. And, so obviously, but, yes, we were 9-0, but we're 0-0 now. And we've got to beat Calumet on Friday. And then if we're fortunate enough to do that, then, we got to just keep going on a week-to-week basis. And as cliche as that sounds, we really harp on our guys about focusing on a week to week basis, Jack, and not getting too out in front of our skis in regards to that. But we've got some goals still that we want to accomplish. We're fortunately we're 2 for 2 on the goals that we started before at the beginning of the season, and like I said we're still working towards the other ones.
Hey, like you said, Calumet this week, first round of sectionals. What have you seen in the tape? What have you've been thinking about going into this matchup this week?
Well, they're big. They're big on both sides of the ball up front. They've got some athleticism. I know they've got a kind of a quarterback that came that he can throw the ball pretty well, and he presents some issues for us on the outside. So, um, we're gonna. And we really, I mean, it jumps off the tape to you too. I mean, there's flashes of things that they do that that can threaten. I mean, they beat Griffith, 2 weeks ago, or a tough one against Westside. Um, the other, 2 weeks last week, and we just the threat level is real. We've got to do what we got to do. We can't commit pre-snap penalties on offense. We can't put the ball on the ground. We've got to tackle well and rally to the football. And we gotta play Hanover Central Wildcat football like we've done these first 9 weeks. And if we go ahead and do so, I'd like to think that we'll be on the right side of the score this week.